Hey, what's up guys? I'm Jacob Kaufman, I'm in the street, and on Wednesday, Google announced some new products, and we're going to talk about them now. So yeah, Google did not really have, I don't think they had a keynote or anything. They just kind of announced these new products, put their web pages online, released all the details about them. And as usual, you've probably heard most of this already because of rumors and things and leaks happening. People already pretty much knew what Google was going to do, but I don't follow rumors because I think that's boring. I like to see what they're going to do when they do it. So in case you are out of the loop, here are the 3 devices that Google announced. The first device is the Nexus 6. That's right, Google has once again upped the screen size on their flagship phone. First it was the Nexus 4, then the Nexus 5, now it's the Nexus 6. And some people joke that the next version is going to be called the Nexus 7, and it's just going to be this tablet reinvented as a phone. 6 inches does seem really darn big for a phone. Now before you start freaking out, notice this is my Nexus 7 tablet. So the Nexus 6 is an inch smaller than this screen size wise, but remember that the bezel is absolutely tiny on this thing. I'll put a link to Google's website for the Nexus 6 in the description if you take a look at like the bezel and everything and exactly how big the phone is. It's really not super big compared to other large phones on the market today. You know, the Galaxy Note series has always been a big phone series. Apple's got the iPhone 6 Plus now, and now we've got the Nexus 6. Is a 6-inch phone going too far? I honestly think it might be for me personally. I loved the larger screen size on my LG G2, but I think 6 inches would be pretty darn crazy. But enough about the screen size, because that's all just opinion. If you like the bigger screen size, if you don't like it, if you'll get used to it eventually, which you probably will anyway, that's all based on opinion. Let's talk about the hard numbers. So first of all, it is a Quad HD display. Now what the heck does Quad HD mean? Because people are throwing around 4K, Quad HD, Dual HD, 2K, whatever. I am one of the few sane people in this world who still measures screen resolution by pixel count. So this 6-inch phone has a 2560 by 1440 pixel display, and that is 493 pixels per inch. Just to give you an idea, you see this 27-inch monitor I have? This 27-inch monitor has the same amount of pixels as this 6-inch phone. So they have taken all the pixels in my 27-inch monitor and they have squished them down into tiny, tiny, tiny pixels, but the same amount in a phone. Now what I don't understand is if you buy a 2560 by 1440p monitor from Dell, it's going to cost more than this phone costs. What's up with that? I mean, obviously the display does not cost that much to make if the phone costs less than the display itself just for normal computers. Seriously, you don't need a 1440p monitor on your cell phone. You don't. You're not going to use your cell phone that much. It's not going to make that big of a difference. When Apple came out with the Retina display, I think that was like the last time we really needed to get pixels any smaller. Every time we add more pixels now, I just see it as useless because your eyes cannot see pixels that small anyway, so it's not really going to matter. Anyway, 1440p display obviously turned sideways, so technically it's 1440 by 2560. It is made out of Gorilla Glass 3, so yeah, it's going to be tough glass. That's good. Dual front-facing speakers. That's very nice. A lot of phones have speakers on the back or on the bottom. This phone has a front-facing speaker on the top and one on the bottom, and so you can turn it sideways, watch videos in stereo and things like that. It's made with a Qualcomm Snapdragon 805 quad-core 2.7 gigahertz processor. So yeah, Snapdragon 805, it's quad-core and it's 2.7 gigahertz. That is pretty good for a phone. That's really good for a phone. It's got an Adreno 420 GPU. I'll be honest, I don't keep track of mobile GPUs, so I don't know if that's any good or not. But like I said, that Snapdragon 805 is really a beast. It's got 3 gigabytes of RAM, so you'll be able to have plenty of apps running at the same time and won't notice any lag. It's got a 13 megapixel camera, so nothing too revolutionary. 2 megapixel front-facing camera. Now what is revolutionary, or at least what is really, really nice, is that the back camera records 4K video. And I think 4K is the one that's like 2 of these. I don't think that 4K is the same as Quad HD. Alright, 4K is 3840 by 2160. I think that's it. It's a lot of pixels. So if you use your phone as a video camera often, as I do, this is going to matter to you because, yeah, you want more pixels in video because then the video is going to look better, especially if the people watching your videos have 4K displays. So if I didn't say it already, that is at 30 frames per second, it will capture 4K video. Front camera has HD, so your front camera is either going to have 720p or 1080p video as well, probably 1080p. There's a new turbocharging technology that gets you, apparently you can plug your phone in for 15 minutes and get 6 hours of usage out of it. I'm not sure if that would be good for the battery, but it's there if you have an emergency or something. You get a 3,220 milliamp hour battery, and that's pretty darn big. My phone is a 3,000 milliamp hour battery, and I get 2 days usually on my phone, which I know 2 days doesn't sound like much, but it's really a lot in terms of smartphones. Some of them you have to charge every night. Mine I only have to charge every other night, and this one is slightly bigger than the one I have. So yeah, you're going to be able to get at least a day and a half out of this phone. For sensors, we have a GPS and accelerometer, a gyroscope. What phones don't have those things nowadays? We also get a magnetometer, an ambient light sensor, and a barometer. So all of those are pretty standard for Nexus devices now. You know, you got your compass, you got your motion control for gaming. You have two options for storage. You can get 32 gigabytes or 64 gigabytes. There is no SD card slot. Why will manufacturers not put SD card slots in the phones? It's because they want you to pay more for the upgraded storage models, and they don't want you to be able to get a phone and then expand it later yourself. They want you to have to replace it with a bigger model. So yeah, no SD card slot, and all of that right there, that sounds great. You got the Snapdragon 805, quad-core 2.7 gigahertz processor, you have 3 gigabytes of RAM, you have 4K video recording, 3220 milliamp hour battery. What is the problem with this phone? Well, the problem is that it is $650 off contract. And I know that if you go to AT&T or Verizon or Sprint or T-Mobile or US Cellular, they will all be selling this phone. I know if you go to any of them and you sign a 2-year contract, they will subsidize your phone price. You'll pay less for the phone, and then you'll just end up paying more in the long run to your carrier. I know you can do that, and you can pay like $200 probably for this phone rather than $650. But off contract, if you don't want to be tied to a 2-year contract, if you don't want to be tied to a specific carrier, and if you wanted the month-to-month plan on your carrier, then one of the best features of the Nexus 4 and the Nexus 5 to a certain extent was how cheap they were. The Nexus 4 was the first Android phone that was actually any good that would cost you less than $500 to buy off contract. It was like $200, wasn't it? It was $200 or $300. Might have been closer to $300. But the Nexus 4, when Google first started making the Nexus products, the Nexus 4 was like $200 or $300, and you could buy that like as an MP3 player, use it as like an iPod Touch, but with Android. You could buy it just as a camera. You could buy it to do anything you wanted to do with it and not be tied to paying AT&T a monthly fee or Verizon a monthly fee. You could buy it just for anything you wanted to buy it for. Obviously, you're not going to go out and buy a $650 device to use as an iPod when you could go out and buy an iPod to use as an iPod for like $200. And obviously, you're not going to pay $650 for a phone if you live in America at all, really. You're going to want to sign one of those 2-year contracts, and you're going to want to pay $200 for it, because people don't understand that they're paying more in the long run when they do that. Because your monthly fee from your carrier goes way up when you do that. The month-to-month plan on your carrier is way lower when you pay the entire device fee up front. But yeah, nobody wants to pay $650 for a handheld device. It seems like such a small thing to pay so much money for. And I would not say it's overpriced. I hear some people like saying, oh, it's not overpriced, look at the great specs. And you're right, it has great specs, great processor, great graphics, great cameras, great battery. But even if it's not overpriced, it doesn't change the fact that Google needs to watch how much they're charging for these things. So that's the Nexus 6. Now let's talk about the Nexus 9. So I guess somebody at Google decided that if they had a Nexus 6, that it wouldn't look very good to have a Nexus 7, because then they would only be 1 inch apart. So they decided to discontinue the Nexus 7 line altogether, and the Nexus 10, which had not been updated since the first iteration. Even though I've heard great things about the Nexus 10, they decided to launch this Nexus 9. So why give people 2 choices for the screen size when they could just give you 1 choice for the screen size? Seriously, some people want a small tablet, some people want a big tablet. The only reason I got a Nexus 7 instead of a 10 was because the Nexus 7 was so much cheaper. Now there's only one option. If I want an Android flagship tablet, I have to go with the Nexus 9 and pay. I'll get to the price later. But yeah, it's like Nexus 9, I don't know. If you wanted a bigger screen size, like I've always said, I'm waiting for the 13-inch tablet before I get like a real full-size tablet to use all the time. I do not like being tied to a screen size this small. I use this for reading. I use this for watching YouTube sometimes. Mostly I use this for reading and for like notes and things like this. I would not feel comfortable producing anything on this. I would have to produce it on my computer and then move it to this. And yeah, I don't like doing content production on small screens. So I am disappointed that they discontinued the Nexus 10, but obviously it would have looked bad if they had a Nexus 9 and a Nexus 10 too. So Apple's iPad mini was 8 inches, which was an inch above the Nexus 7. Now, Google's tablet is 9 inches, which is an inch above the iPad mini, but it's still an inch below the full-size iPad. Now that I've explained the basic addition, subtraction, math stuff to everyone, the screen has a 2048 by 1536 pixel resolution, so that is actually higher resolution horizontally, but lower resolution vertically. The aspect ratio is different, so that makes sense, but the point is they're giving you a higher pixel per inch display. They're giving you a higher density display on your phone than on your tablet. What happened to having good displays on tablets? This display is also made with Gorilla Glass 3. One thing they mentioned on there is that it has double tap to wake, which I don't think my Nexus does. No, my Nexus 7 does not have double tap to wake, but my phone does have double tap to wake. LG was like the first company to do the double tap on the screen of your phone to turn it on thing, or to, you know, bring up the lock screen. And they called it knock on. Like they advertised like you could knock on the screen of your device, and nobody does that. Nobody's gonna knock on their phone screen. But I use that feature all the time. Like I said, you double tap the screen and it brings up the lock screen as if you had clicked the power button. And that is really useful because the phone is so big, I don't have to reach back for the power button as much. Now, the LG G2 that I have, I always say I absolutely love where they put the buttons on it. I have no problem with the buttons being on the back. But because the display is so large, if you have smaller hands, double tap to turn on is really, really going to help you adjust to the bigger phone size. I kind of think that they should add that to the Nexus 6 just because it's so big. The Nexus 9 having it, though, that is absolutely great. I never even thought about having double tap to turn on my Nexus 7, but now that I think about it, that really makes sense for a tablet, so that you don't have to search around all the different bezels for your buttons. You can just double tap on the screen and have it turn on. So the Nexus 9 also has dual front-facing speakers. Once again, one is on the top, one is on the bottom, and that way you can turn it sideways and watch videos in landscape mode with stereo sound. And you can also do games with stereo sound. So that's really nice. You also have dual microphones, I guess, for recording or video chatting or whatever. Has a soft grip back, which it's not textured like the Nexus 7's soft grip back is, but I hope it's the same material because I absolutely love the grip that you get on the back of the Nexus 7. So yeah, I'd much rather have the soft grip back than the metal back that the iPad has, although the soft grip back does scratch easier than the metal back, I would imagine. Although I've never had a problem with that on here. Anyway, for the processor, you get a 64-bit NVIDIA Tegra K1 processor. Codename is Dual Denver, and it runs at 2.3 gigahertz. Now, 64-bit, huge, huge, huge. That is, you know, iPads have 64-bit processors now. We will need to move all mobile devices to 64-bit eventually if we want to do serious work on them, like video editing and rendering and things like that. 2.3 gigahertz, though, what happened to the 2.7 gigahertz from the phone? Once again, a tablet is bigger than a phone. You're going to use a tablet probably not more than you use a phone in terms of time, but you're going to use a tablet for more serious tasks than you use a phone for. They really should be stocking our tablets with higher powered stuff than our phones. Maybe to get the 64-bit processor in there, the clock speed was something they had to sacrifice. I don't know. But yeah, great that there's a 64-bit, like I said, Tegra K1 processor. But yeah, only at 2.3 gigahertz, so make what you will out of that. There is a 192-core Kepler GPU, which is probably better than whatever the Adreno GPU was I said for the Nexus 6. There's only 2 gigabytes of RAM in the tablet, which only 2 gigabytes of RAM. I have no idea what this has. It's probably like half a gig. But if you put 3 gigabytes of RAM in the phone, once again, why would you put 2 in the tablet? We're going to be doing more serious stuff on the tablet. We're going to be using the tablet for more important things than we use our phones for. They did the same thing with the camera. There's an 8 megapixel back camera, a 1.6 megapixel front camera. I don't know why people put back cameras on tablets. I guess it would be, like, convenient sometimes if you're trying to play, like, a game that requires a camera or something. I don't know. But there's a camera on the front of this Nexus, and I've used the front camera once or twice when I was video chatting, but I have never wished I had a back camera on the Nexus 7. It does have a 6700 milliamp hour battery. Not sure how that stacks up compared to other tablets, but it sounds alright. It comes with a GPS, an ambient light sensor, a gyroscope, an accelerometer, and a magnetometer. So everything except the barometer that the Nexus 6 had. And it only comes in 16 and 32 gigabyte storage models. Once again, no SD card slots, so no expandable storage on your tablet. And you've got half as much storage as you have on your phone. Why would we want to store more things on our phone than on our tablet? We're going to be wanting to store higher resolution video on our tablet. We're going to be wanting to store bigger documents on our tablet, and bigger files, and more serious stuff. Even though I fully admit you're going to use your phone a lot more than you use your tablet, just because it's in your pocket all the time, you really are going to be wanting higher specs on your tablet because you're going to be using it for more serious stuff. At least that's the way I see it. If you're going to go all in on a tablet like that. If you're just using it like I use this, then yeah, probably not, but you don't need a 9-inch tablet to use your tablet like I use mine. So yeah, Nexus 9. That's nice. I did not mention earlier, the Nexus 6 is made by Motorola. The Nexus 9 is made by HTC, and it's got a completely different look than before. Completely new look. It's got a metal band around the side. You see this, like, silver band around the side of my Nexus 7? That is plastic. It looks great, and I have never had a problem with the build quality of this thing. This thing is rugged. I have used this for so much I've had this for, I don't know, I've had it for over a year and a half now. Yeah, this thing is absolutely great, but yeah, that is plastic, which is lighter than metal, and it doesn't get cold, so that's nice. But the side of this, or the band around the side of the Nexus 9 is metal. The camera sticks out from the back, I think to help the tablet lay flat on a table when you're using it. It's got a new premium feel. This was like a rugged, take it anywhere you want to go feel. The new Nexus has a really premium feel. Google will be selling an official keyboard stand for the tablet, which the only official thing for this that they sold was the Nexus 7 dock, which I have back here. As you can see, this was just a dock that you could put your tablet in and plug it in. There's audio and power cables on the back of it, but this was just, obviously, like I said, a dock. But the new Nexus 9 will have an official keyboard case to go with it, so it magnetically attaches, and it will prop up your device at 3 different angles, I think, so you can have your device propped up and have a tablet right there, have a keyboard right there to use with your tablet. So, like I said, if you're going to be getting this to actually make things on it, if you're going to want to actually, like, type notes and stuff, if you're going to be taking this to class, if you're going to be taking this to work, to meetings and things, then you'd probably want to pick up that case so that you would have a real keyboard, because I can get by on the Android keyboard. I have no problem, like, just inherently with the touchscreen keyboard, but I just can't type as fast as I can on a mechanical keyboard. So yeah, I would definitely pick that up. And it's nice that it's official now, because right now, if you want to pick up, like, a keyboard case for this, you'd have to worry about, okay, is this a quality case? Is this company cheap? What's going on with this company? You don't have to worry about what company you're getting this from. You're going to get it from the Play Store. It's probably made by HTC. I actually have not seen any other tablets made by HTC. They probably have made some, but I have not heard about any. None of them have been big enough for me to hear about. But HTC makes super nice phones, so yeah, I have high hopes that their tablet's going to be great build quality. Will it perform well? Probably. It's got better stuff than this. This doesn't perform the best, actually. This is quite slow sometimes, but like I said, I don't do anything serious with this because it's quite slow. If this thing works fast, then who knows, maybe people will start using it for real work. But yeah, if they want people to use it for real work, then they might want to put the faster processor in it like they put in the phone. They might want to put more RAM in it like they put in the phone. So yeah, that is the Nexus 9. And finally, the last Nexus device that was announced is the Nexus Player. The Nexus Player is a set-top box. It is made to compete with the Apple TV. And a lot of people, before I start, a lot of people are comparing the Nexus Player to Google's Chromecast device, which the Chromecast lets you, basically it's a little like USB stick sized thing. It's really an HDMI port, but it looks like a USB drive. You plug it into the back of your TV or the side of your TV, and then from your Android device or your computer running Google Chrome, you can cast your screen, you can cast videos and things up to your TV just with this little plug-in thing. And it was only $35. They're still selling it. It was super successful, way more successful than the Apple TV, even though the Apple TV is certainly a success. Yeah, the Chromecast was just like it was something cheap enough for people to buy on a whim, not have to worry about the purchase, just pick it up sometime and try it out, and people really liked it. It worked really well. So yeah, a lot of people are comparing this to the Chromecast, and you know, some people are comparing it to the Apple TV. Did we forget about the Nexus Q? Like, Google completely erased all evidence of the Nexus Q, and it's as if they erased it from our minds as well. There was that device back when they first announced the Nexus 4 and the Nexus 7, the original 2012 version. Yeah, there was that whole thing called the Nexus Q, that it was this little orb that plugged into your TV, and it was the competitor to the Apple TV. It ran a customized version of Android, and I mean, you could watch all of your Google Play stuff on it. You could watch like Netflix and YouTube on it. For some reason, people didn't like it very much, and it completely died. Maybe there were bugs with it. It looked really freaking cool. It had like color-changing lights on it. And yeah, I mean, in theory, I thought that was a great device, but they discontinued it right away. So, not right away, they discontinued it the next time they updated their other stuff. So yeah, it seems everyone's forgotten about the Nexus Q. The Nexus Player, I would see, is the successor to the Nexus Q, or a restart of the Nexus Q, because it does everything the Nexus Q did. It might do it better, but that's the same kind of device. This is not made to compete with the Chromecast. This is made as a Nexus Q type device. It's a set-top box. The Chromecast is not a box. The Chromecast is a dongle that you plug into your TV. It's an adapter that adapts your device to your TV, and it streams things in real time through the Google Cast technology through the internet. It streams things. The Google Chromecast streams things. This thing actually like stores things. Some people have been comparing this to Google TV as well. But yeah, it's not like Google TV. It's not built into your TV. It's a set-top box. It does look very nice in terms of being a set-top box. It is round, like it's a circle, but it's flat. Unlike the Nexus Q was an orb, this is a flat circle. Oh, I forgot my remote upstairs. It comes with a very, very nice black Nexus remote. I'm gonna run and get that. So I got this little Apple remote, not from a Mac, because they do sell these with Macs as an optional accessory, but I got this with my iPod Universal Dock. And I actually did not use the dock for music. I used the dock just for charging and for a stand, but I did not use it for actually playing music out of my iPod. But this remote made me want to use my dock for playing music out of my iPod. Like, I want to use devices that work with this remote, just because I know this sounds silly, but this remote has excellent build quality. It's like a solid little block of aluminum. Yeah, it's just, it looks really nice and it feels really nice as a remote. I know, it sounds ridiculous, but yeah, like, I wish that I almost have considered getting IR adapters for my computer just to see if they will make this remote work, because I just want to use this remote, because it looks and feels so nice. What does this Apple remote have to do anything with the Nexus remote? Well, the Nexus remote reminds me a lot of this. It looks like it's made out of metal. I hope it's made out of metal and not plastic. Because that will infinitely increase its feel in your hand and its look. It looks very elegant, very simplistic. It's got just the same kind of 4 button with a button in the middle setup, and it's got a few other buttons on it. So yeah, think of the remote for the Nexus Player kind of like as this remote, but black and maybe a little shorter, and it's got more rounded corners. It's kind of like a rounded top and bottom. So yeah, very nice remote it looks like. In addition to that, if you want to use the Nexus Player for gaming, which I'm not sure how well this is going to take to consumers, because not a lot of people use their Android devices for heavy gaming. Not a lot of people want to. Game companies are always doing these keynotes about how great their new games look on your new Nexus devices, but nobody wants to do gaming on a phone or a tablet. Nobody wants to do that. It's bad controls, it's bad graphics. Even with all the innovation we have with graphics, it's still crappy graphics compared to Xboxes and PlayStations and PCs. The Nexus Player really does not have that good of graphics, but if you're just a casual gamer, maybe you want to play, like, I don't know, indie games that are just for fun on there. Asus is making the Nexus Player, and Asus will sell the official gamepad for the Nexus player. So you will not have to default to an Xbox gamepad, because like a lot of PC gamers who want gamepads for their computers just default to buying an Xbox one, because Xbox controllers are really easy to use with PCs. So yeah, you will not have to mess around with third-party game controllers. They're actually making a game controller, an official game controller for the player. And the fact that they're doing that, it doesn't come with it. It's a separate purchase because they know not everyone's going to want to use their player for games. But yeah, if you do, you won't have to worry about third-party cheap controllers. You'll be able to get an Asus controller. It looks very nice, looks very similar to the Xbox controller. It actually kind of looks like a cross between the Xbox and PlayStation controllers. And yeah, it looks quality, and it's built by Asus, so it probably will be quality. So a lot of what the player is going to do is going to be app-based. You're going to plug it into your TV, you're going to have like a home screen, you're going to have different apps, you're going to have Netflix apps, Hulu apps, YouTube apps, you're going to have apps for games, Google Play Store is on there, so you can get movies from Google Play, you can rent movies from Google Play, you can get music from Google Play on there and stream music through your TV if you've got like a sound system connected to your TV. There's probably a Pandora app, there's gotta be a Pandora app, and yeah, you can get games from Google Play as well. So it's clearly made to compete with the Apple TV. If you like the idea of an Apple TV, but you don't buy things from iTunes, so you're wary of going that direction, because the Apple TV, I think it might support Netflix, but it really doesn't have that many outside stuff. This thing is running Android, so you know there's going to be tons of apps people are going to be writing, and even if they're not officially supported, you're going to be able to load somehow apps onto your Nexus player to get the content you want on there. Also, the Nexus player functions as a Google Chromecast. Yeah, it functions as a Google Chromecast. You can, in the same way that you cast your screen or videos from your device, your phone or your tablet or your laptop, the same way that you can cast things from your devices onto your TV through a Chromecast, you can do the exact same thing through the player. So that right there pretty much clears up the whole Chromecast versus player debate. The Chromecast is for people who want to stream things. The player is for people who want an actual platform, an actual set-top box that has apps and media residing on it, but it will also stream things, so you do not have to get both. If you're only going to get one of these and you want the one with more functionality, you're going to go for the player. If you only want one of these and all you want to do is stream, the Chromecast is now the cheap alternative to it. But yeah, the player is for people who want apps and like want to be able to point a remote at their TV and use it without picking up their phone or their tablet, which I know seems like a step backwards because we just started using phones and tablets as remotes in the first place. But if you ever want to do that, you can use this as a Chromecast. So yeah, that's that. Let me see what else I wrote down. It has voice recognition for controls through Google Now. So I know on the phone we always compare Google Now to Siri, but on the set-top box, I would compare Google Now to Xbox Connect voice controls. Like you can say Xbox search for Netflix, or Xbox search blank, or Xbox this, or Xbox that. So this you can say, okay Google, search the App Store for Netflix if you want to search for the Netflix app and download it. You can say, okay Google, search for the new Star Trek movie if you want to download that from Google Play. So yeah, looks like voice recognition will work, kind of like the Kinect voice recognition does for Xbox. On to the actual tech specs of it. It has a 1.8 quad-core Intel Atom processor, so not a high-power processor at all. It's going to be just fine for playing media. Just fine for playing media. In terms of gaming, I don't know. It has an Imagination Power VR Series 6 graphics engine. It's 2D and 3D graphics engine. I don't know what that means. It doesn't sound like it's a chip, it just says it's an engine, so maybe it's built into the processor. Once again, considering they're selling an official gamepad, I'm kind of surprised at how low-powered this thing is. It doesn't sound like it's going to be very good for gaming. It only has 1 GB of RAM. It only has 8 GB of storage. So really, they want you to be streaming things through this. When I say that it's made for people who don't just want to stream, I mean in terms of the control interface. This thing has its own interface. The Chromecast does not have an interface. The Chromecast is your phone's interface projected onto a screen. This thing has its own interface that you can browse, but it's still going to be streaming your content when you buy something or rent something through Google Play. It's not going to download it Or if it does, it's only going to download 1 or 2 things at a time. It's going to mainly be streaming things. It's going to be streaming your Netflix videos, your YouTube videos. It'll be streaming your music. So you want to make sure you have a high-speed internet connection if you're going to be using this thing, because you're not going to be storing your media collection on this. You're going to be storing your media collection on Google's servers, and then Google's going to stream it to you when you request it. Which that I don't really like, but you can't really do anything about it. Everything's in the cloud now. Maybe we'll see what app developers come up with for if you can have your own servers streaming to this thing. But certainly not going to be supported by Google. Google wants everything stored on their servers, on Google Play, and then streaming from Google Play to your player when you, like I said, when you want to. It has HDMI out. That is the only video output it has, which is fine for most people now. It's 1080p at 60 frames per second, so if you have a 4K TV, I thought it was interesting. I'm pretty sure there are 4K TVs that have Google TV built in. This thing is going to be replacing Google TV, but it does not support 4K, it only supports 1080p. And it does have a micro USB 2.0 slot. Perhaps that's for content. Maybe it's for plugging in your phone. Maybe it's for plugging in an external hard drive if you want to store things. Just saying, that could be a possible usage for that in the future. I don't know why else they would put a micro USB slot on it. Like I said, other than maybe being able to charge your device on it and sync your device with it. Although it wouldn't need to sync anyway. So yeah, that's the Nexus Player. The Nexus Player, let me see how much it costs. The Nexus Player will cost $100, which is the same price, I believe, as the Apple TV. So yeah, not too shabby. That is the Nexus Player for if you want an Apple TV and an ecosystem that is slightly more open, but it's really getting more locked down every day. And moving on, Android 5.0, also known as Android L. Now, I thought it was weird. They were calling it Android L all the time, and now they just call it Android 5.0, and they just completely dropped the L name. L stood for Lollipop, and they are calling it Android 5.0 Lollipop, because if you don't know, every Android version has a dessert it is named after. 4.0 is Ice Cream Sandwich, 4.2 was Jelly Bean, 4.1 or 4.2. Honestly, I hadn't been keeping up with them for all of the 4.X's, but 5.0 is Lollipop, and it has everything we've been talking about. Google already pretty much told us what's in Android L. They have just announced that it's released now, or it's going to be released very soon. One of the biggest changes in Android Lollipop is that it has the APIs for your Google Wear and your Google TV stuff built in. Android Wear and Android TV, whatever they're called. Android L has the capacity to interact with Android Wear devices and with Android TV devices. And yeah, that's, you know, they just added that support, that's all. They've added some features where you can like pause a song on one device and start playing it on another device in the same spot, or pause a movie on one device, start playing it on another one in the same spot. So if you're watching something on your phone, then you get home, you can pause it, and then you can click play on your tablet and it'll pick up where you left off. Nothing too revolutionary. Like I said, they already announced that they would be doing that. Material design is a thing now, so very flat design. I honestly could care less about retheming. You can theme your device however you want to. Theming should not be something that they're advertising for the operating system. They're saying that material design is going to make things more consistent across different devices. So right now, my phone and my tablet have very different interfaces. Once both of them are updated to Android L, if either of them are ever updated to Android L, then both of them will have very similar interfaces, so it will be less confusing for me switching back and forth. One new feature that I didn't realize they were doing is we have prioritized notifications now. And so if you want to put your device on silent mode, except maybe there's an important business call you're waiting for, you can set that number to be an important notification. And you can put your device on like a half silent mode where if like your mom or your sister calls you, it will not ring. But if that important business call happens, then your phone will ring. Or if you get like a text message or an email from a certain person, it will give you a little buzz or something. But then if it's from anyone else, if it's just like a Google Play automated email, then it will not tell you. So prioritize notifications. You can get to some notifications from your lock screen, which is a security flaw. We added the lock screen so that people could not get to your stuff. I don't know why you would want to be able to get to your stuff without signing into your lock screen. That would completely bypass the whole password thing. There's a new battery saver mode included. And this is the point where I kind of say, seriously, you added a battery saver mode? How many apps are there in Google Play that add battery saver modes to your device? I don't know exactly what the battery saver mode does, but I mean, just give it better battery life in the first place, make the operating system more efficient as a whole. Encryption is now turned on by default, so your device will be completely encrypted, and what that means is that, theoretically, law enforcement and hackers, if someone were to steal your device, they would not be able to get to your stuff without putting in your password. Some things that confuse me about that are, right now you can turn encryption on your device, it's just not on by default, and when I went to turn encryption on this device, it told me, you are currently using a puzzle unlock, you need to be using a numerical number, you need to be using a numerical code unlock to use encryption, please insert a numerical code now, and I was like, no, I kind of want to use puzzle unlock, because I think it's more fun and quicker to use, so I'm not using encryption on this, which doesn't really matter, because I don't have anything on this, like I said, and I just leave it at home all the time anyway. But yeah, I wonder if they're going to make you use numerical codes now instead of making you or letting you use the pattern unlock, because the draw your pattern to unlock was really something that was iconic for Android devices for a long time. Maybe people don't care about it anymore. I do care about it, but, you know, I do realize that security is more important. So yeah, I will be turning on encryption for my phone and using a numerical code unlock when this happens. Like I said, encryption was already built into all devices if you wanted to turn it on. Now it's just going to be turned on by default because all devices now have powerful enough processors to handle that, and they've refined their encryption methods now to where it's not going to slow your device down too much to do it. Now, like I said, that's all theoretical. Even though people cannot get to stuff stored locally on your device, if you turn on, like, automatically back up all my photos to Google Now, like it says, or not Google Now, but Google whatever it is, they've got whenever you take a picture on your phone for the first time, it's going to say, would you like to back all your photos up to Google? And if you click yes, obviously, even if you have device encryption turned on, if you take a picture, it'll be encrypted on your device. Then it will decrypt it and send it up to Google, and Google will be able to get to it, and hackers will be able to get to it, and law enforcement will be able to get to it. So, really, encryption on the device does not matter as long as you're using the cloud. You have to stop using the cloud if you want encryption to actually do anything. And I will be doing a series on how to do that pretty soon, or at least on how to get away from Google's version of the cloud. But we're almost done here, so I might as well finish this video before I start the next one. We have trusted devices like watches and cars can unlock your device. So that doesn't mean your device will turn on automatically, that would be kind of dumb, but let's say that you set a passcode for your device because you want to be able to use encryption, but you don't want to have to enter the passcode all the time. So you could say, okay, when you detect with your proximity sensor or Bluetooth or whatever it is, when you detect that my watch is nearby, then don't require a password. But when my watch is not nearby, so if someone were to take your phone or if you were to leave it somewhere and your watch left the proximity of the phone, then the phone would now require a passcode to unlock. Same thing with cars with Android, what was it, like Android Auto built in, where if you're walking to your car, let's say that in your workplace your phone requires a password because you don't want anyone else getting a hold of your stuff, but then you walk out to your car, and when you get into your car, your phone detects, hey, I'm in a safe place now, and it will not require a password anymore. I think that that's nice. That's something that it does not take away any control from you, it just makes things easier for you. That's a great new feature. Especially the watch is one. I think the watch is one. Like, that would be an incentive for me to get an Android watch right there, is it'll automatically unlock my phone for me. There will now be multiple user support on all devices. Previously, you could have multiple users, I think, on tablets and some phones, but really it depended on your OEM and it depended on what version of Android you had. With Android 5.0, any device with Android 5.0 will have multi-user support. So, if you have a family tablet, every family member can have a separate account with separate apps and separate media and separate settings and wallpapers and everything. Everyone can have a customized experience. That's great. There's now screen pinning, which is sort of like a kiosk mode. Let's say I'm having people over to do voice recording for a Machinima series like I was doing last summer, and then I give people a tablet with the script on it, and I don't want them getting into all my personal stuff. I just want them looking at the script. So I could, like, turn on some sort of pinned mode where it takes away the ability to go anywhere else. It takes away the home button, it takes away the recents button, and it just locks them into the app that you give them. So now they can look at the document I handed them or the script I handed them. They will not be able to get to my personal stuff. So that's nice. If you want to, like, if your friend says, hey, can I see your phone so I can, like, call someone, you can lock it onto the phone app, or if they want to search something on the internet, you can lock it onto the internet app. Or if they want to play one game, you can lock it onto the game app. You don't have to worry about them posting stuff to your Facebook or looking at your browsing history or anything that you don't want them to do. Devices will now automatically prefer Wi-Fi networks with internet access. So if I'm just walking around town with this, it will automatically connect to the strongest Wi-Fi network around me. The problem is some Wi-Fi networks don't have internet access. They're just Wi-Fi networks for computers to talk to each other, but they don't actually talk to the internet. Now this will recognize, hey, wait a minute, the Wi-Fi network I just connected to does not have internet access, so it's probably going to be useless to my owner. So why don't I disconnect from that and connect to the second strongest one, and hopefully that one will have internet. So that's great for, like I said, that's just auto connecting, that you can still connect to whatever Wi-Fi network you want to, but just automatically it will prefer networks with internet access. That's great. Android 5.0 will now use the ART runtime rather than the just-in-time compiler that it used to. And I believe that means that it's going to be kind of pre-running things or pre-compiling or something. I've talked about this in the past. I've forgotten about it since I last talked about it. You can go back and watch my video about Google I/O 2014. I think I talked about it in that video. So yeah, this new runtime is basically going to speed up apps on devices. And that is once again possible now because most devices are powerful enough to support that. There's now 64-bit CPU support built into all stock Android apps, and there will automatically be 64-bit support in all pure Java apps. So I don't know what apps written for Android are not written in pure Java, but yeah, that basically means that a whole lot of apps, including all of the stock Android apps, fully support 64-bit, so you can use Google Chrome in 64-bit mode, you can use like the built-in movie editor in 64-bit mode. That's great because if you have a 64-bit processor, you want to be able to use 64-bit applications. There's now USB audio support, so you can like plug in a USB cord to this, and the USB cord can go to speakers, so that way you can have speakers that aren't just going through your analog headphone jack, you can have speakers that are going through your digital USB cord jack. If you somehow really need to have high-quality sound coming out of a tablet or a phone, that's one of those things where it's like if I need something that high quality, I'm going to use a computer for it, not a tablet. But it's nice that they have USB audio support now. Surround sound support is now built in, and Android YV. What's that stand for? You know, I think I meant TV. I think that was a typo. Android TV is now an existent thing rather than just an idea. So, yeah. Android TV. Yeah, there's nothing called Android YV. That's Android TV. So yeah, Android TV exists now. They've released it. So yeah, that took me like an hour to record, didn't it? That's a long time. That is the latest and greatest of what Google has released. It's interesting, they still have the Nexus 5 website online, and it's not just the old website. They've got the Nexus 6 website, the Nexus 9 website, and then they've got the Nexus 5 website. And they've updated the Nexus 5 website to match the other ones. So, like, they completely changed the design of the Nexus 5 website, and they took all of these new pictures promoting it. So I wonder if they're going to keep selling the Nexus 5 for a while, or what? Because, yeah, like I said, it's not like just a link to the old page. They have completely updated the Nexus 5 page. They have not updated the phone, but they updated the page to make it look like the other new Nexus pages. So they might still be selling the Nexus 5 for a while. Just for people who don't want a 6-inch phone, because 1 inch is obviously going to make all that difference. Maybe it's a price thing, because it is a lot cheaper. Yeah, $350 rather than $650, so 1 extra inch is $300. So if you want that smaller Nexus 5 phone, you can still get it right now, except they're out of inventory. So that's weird. I don't know if they're selling that or not, but you can go online and look at that. I'll put links to all of this in the description of this video. If you have any questions about any of this, feel free to comment. Comment what you think about the bigger phone, the bigger / smaller tablet. It's bigger than the Nexus 7 was, smaller than the Nexus 10 was, and now we only have one size tablet from Google. I really don't like where Google is going at all. I don't like where Google is going. Apple, what they did was they started off as a super premium brand, and they started just degrading their brand and making it more and more just cheapo stuff that anyone can get their hands on. And Google started off as a rugged, anyone-can-use-it brand, and then they just started upping their class and quality more and more, and now we have super expensive Google products. The Nexus line used to be for anyone. The Nexus 7 was marketed as a tablet for anyone. This was a tablet that everyone and their grandmother could use. I think that's the expression, right? Everyone could use this thing. This was priced for everyone. It was made for everyone. It was built for everyone. The new Nexus 9, that is not built for everyone. That is built for people who want the best and are willing to pay for the best. The Nexus 6 is no longer the phone for everyone. The Nexus 6 is the phone for people who want the best and are willing to pay for the best. Android L is based around looking all sharp and smooth and clean, which they already did that with Jelly Bean. Android Jelly Bean 4.1, they made it, oh, it's smooth. Everyone gets a smooth device. You get a smooth device, and you get a smooth device. Everyone gets a smooth device. And now they've got Android L, and Android L is like, you get a smooth device if you've got a device that supports Android L, which all of them are expensive right now. And none of these are actually released. All of these products are coming. Some of them are in pre-order. They are not released yet, but like I said, I'll put the links in the description. So yeah, let me know what you think of the premium brand Google is trying to adopt. If you look, like the Nexus logo used to be colorful. It used to be like the blue, red, green, yellow, like the X, you know? And now it's silver. And it's like, it's more premium, but it's less character, and it's not for everyone anymore. It's just for the elite. So let me know if you think that's a good move for Google, if this is going to increase their brand name, like what people are expecting of them, or if you think this is a bad thing. It's going to get a lot of consumers that would have been interested in Nexus devices to look at lower powered devices now and cheaper devices from other companies now. That's all I'm going to tell you in this video. Like I said, in the comments section below or on our forums at nerdonthestreet.com, feel free to start a discussion about this. But yeah, I'm Jacob Kaufman, I'm Nerd on the Street, and I will see you guys later. See ya.